You're reading into the mic. Oh,
Fear not, citizens. We are back with more Amateur Otaku coverage of the newest My Hero Academia chapter. I am Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet fan here, Dynamite's biggest fan, and I'm so happy to be here hosting this week's coverage of the newest My Hero Academia manga chapter. The show's been on break for a while, it's coming back in fall. The chapters, on the other hand, have been dropping like wildfire. Ah, you see what I did there? Um, but I'm excited to be back here to cover this with my good friend Isaac Wolf. What's up, man?
it's going good. I'm just tired and a bit glad, and I'm a bit excited also talking about it.
By the way, I do find it kind of interesting that that is the most heroic pun you've made. Like your name
Yeah,
literally being the heroic pun.
yeah.
It's well done. Well done.
Why? Thank you.
Well, guys, like I said, we're back here to talk My Hero Academia. We're going to cover chapter 355, which is titled Extras. And no, we're not talking about flash photography, news, nudes. I mean, we're not talking about anything flashy or like newspaper wise. The word extras here is very deliberate, very particular for this particular chapter. When we last left our heroes, Endeavor and Hawks were not doing too great against All for One. We had an amazing conversation. Make sure you check on the description below on the last episode that we did on 354. This is a follow up to that. It picks up right where it left off, where Tsukiyomi and Earphone Jack, I forgot her name, come to the aid of Hawks, who is struggling
Hero.
after Jiro. Thank you, Jiro and Tsukiyomi. Um, as Hawks is struggling to stay on top of the situation in terms of the battle that he was having with All for One, because Endeavor is severely wounded. Now, the good thing is, I don't know if you noticed it, which is the first thing that I noticed because I'm an idiot. And like the first thing that I remembered is that if you guys remember last time we were here, I dubbed my name as Endeavor's tasty right arm. But apparently Endeavor still has his arms. So he didn't lose an arm. He
Eh,
was just like hit in the chest or something and he's like bleeding pretty bad.
to your defense, it did look like he ate that arm.
Yes. Apparently all the Tamura Shigaraki has all the hands and All for One has all the mouths. That sounded way dirtier than I wanted it to sound.
Oh,
But apparently
what
that's what
what
it looks like. So
what is it with you going
I
dirty
don't.
this last
That is
two?
not my intention. But again, it's body horror. And now you
Oh,
can say it. And now you can say it. Go Horikoshi. Go ahead. Get it
I
out of your
mean,
system.
he wants to do horror manga, so it's no point in trying to point that one out at this point.
So point. But yeah, I like this chapter. I liked it a lot. Overall, I liked it a lot. I have a lot of things I want to say about it. But Isaac, you read it earlier today. You read it before we started recording. Thoughts?
I just love the guts that Jiro has in this episode because she knows deep down that she is a downright nobody in comparison to our big bad here. Yet she still has to yes to say yes downright. While she's losing one of her earbuds, I might half of her powers. I might add.
Yes.
Yes, talking essentially. Don't be so cocky, but too cocky right now, and Don't, what's it called? Don't take the victory too soon, or what do you want to call it?
Pretty much Jiro is literally telling All for One, don't overestimate us. And
Underestimate,
yeah,
underestimate, not
yeah,
overestimate.
yep.
But yeah, and I have to say that Hawks is truly just. It shows that he is a true. It's not the first gen hero, but he shows his responsibility and maturity in here. And just on top of him focusing on trying to destroy that mask, he says, "I'm not gonna let those kids die." So that kind of thing.
No, truly, I totally agree. I think if we all loved Hawks for how he strategizes and how he fights and all that stuff, right? I would say that in the My Villain, not in My Villain Academia, but during the Camino, everything that happened with plus Ultra Shigaraki, right?
Yeah,
That last big battle, we don't see a lot. We see Hawks, but we don't see a lot of Hawks because Hawks was like sidelined very quickly. Like we've seen Hawks as the spy, we've seen Hawks as the support item, and we've seen Hawks as a charcoal brick. I'm kidding. That's kind of mean, but like this is the first time that we see Hawks in like an active general position, right? So I love the fact that we can see the gears turning in his head as he's constantly assessing the situation, shifting gears, um, making decisions based on the support that he's given, not the support that he has. I love the fact that he doesn't make the mistake of underestimating them, and I think I like the fact also that we can see Hawks respecting Jiro and Tsukuyomi as heroes, which is I think it's the best thing that can happen to these characters. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because he could easily just waste his time fighting with them. How giving them more reasons why they shouldn't be there? Which, by the way, I love the fact that Tsukuyomi has that much respect. He has so much respect for Hawks that he has the bravery to tell him to shut up.
yeah,
like like I really like that's very metal of Tsukuyomi, which is great. Like they have that kind of relationship where like Hawks is like wakes up and go, okay, they're gonna be here to stay. And I think it goes and this takes me to the biggest success and why this chapter is so good. Now, let's point this out because if we don't do it, Mike is going to do it in the comments. So I'm going to do it here. There's no Deku in this episode. There's no Deku
yeah.
in this chapter. There's no Todoroki. I mean, you see Todoroki, but there's no Todoroki in the chapter. There's no Bakugo. There's no Shimura. There's no Shigaraki. Like we don't see. There's yet another chapter where we don't see any of the big players apart from All for One. Not only that, we're gonna go on break for another 14 days, so we won't get another chapter for another 14 days. So it's going on break again. It was a pretty sweet cliffhanger that went on break, but it was a strong episode because it was able to play around with the thesis of the book, which it's all about what does it mean to be a hero? Like,
Yeah.
what are the key differences between a hero and a villain? And like, and how it all boils down to character and it all boils down to vision and putting yourself out there and the two big character moments that I love from this chapter, well, there's three big ones. Like I'm gonna start with the Hawks one because I already started talking about the general aspect of Hawks, how he's
There
analyzing
is one
everything.
part about the break I want to mention, which I do find suspicious. But go on. But I can take that after you're mentioning that one.
Perfect. I'll make sure to go back to that. um, but the whole thing about Hawks analyzing everything and then using their weakness to the most utmost capacity, right? Like, yes, they're not weak, but it doesn't matter how weak we are. every little bit in the same area can break a dam. And we find at the end that they actually break through the mask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
But my biggest question is the whole his Kirks that he stole, trying to stop him.
yes,
Is that
yes.
an indicator of his original body is going on its last legs?
It could
What was
be.
that all about?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I find it interesting that he mentions Stars and Stripes because
Yeah,
I like the fact that they're piggybacking that. Because remember, the first time we ever saw actually goes back to Deku actually because when you think about it, all the all the spirits of All for One wielders are the wills of those wielders encapsulated in the quirks inside of all One for All. Does that make sense?
yeah,
So we've been seeing that forever. We're just seeing it in different manifestations. So when Stars and Stripes quirk was stolen by Shigaraki, we saw her will remain alive in the quirk and like destroy him or whatever. And then now we're seeing the same thing in All for One's body, which yes, like you said, it could be part of his body breaking down and not able to contain the quirks. But yeah, I like the fact that first of all, I like the fact that it didn't come out of nowhere. Because you know how like if this was something that this is the first time we see something like that, everybody would be like plot convenience, Deus Ex Machina. Everybody would be complaining like, "Oh, you guys are just, you know what I mean? They're just trying to just pull something out of their ass, right?" But that's not what's
yeah.
happening. There's actually other events where this happened. There's precedence, which is the most important thing when you're trying to do a twist. So I like this twist a lot. And like you said, I like how it's all of those people's hearts coming about, which again, it goes back to the idea of heroism, which I mentioned.
But
But well, let me
isn't
finish. Let me
he
finish
hasn't
this
he?
thought.
Okay, sorry,
Let me
sorry,
finish
sorry.
before I let it go. The idea of heroism of what makes a villain and a hero so different is that a villain only fights when he needs to or when it's convenient. A hero fights for what he believes in. Well, a hero fights when it's for justice, but a real hero won't back down no matter the result. A villain, if he can run away, he'll find a way. You see what I'm saying? Like a hero won't back down, and like that idea, and that's what's happening with Juro Tsukuyomi and Hawks. They're gonna give it their all, and they understand that they might not go home after this. Now, the third thing, which is the last thing, I love how we were able to experience something with a character that we never saw before, in regards to the whole secret of One for All, the threat, is the idea that we have a character like Jiro, which again, if the main characters are going to be Deku, All Might, Bakugo, Todoroki, Endeavor, right? Those are the main characters. But then everybody else in class 1A are like B characters. Not that they're bad, but they're not front and center, right? And Jiro, apart from the whole school festival thing, she's kind of like lower tier B. Does that make sense? I would even say that
Yeah,
Tsukuyomi has more screen time than Jiro. But I like the fact that they'd include her and how she states that she never quite grasped what the big threat was. And she finally did. And now, even though she finally understands, even though she's scared, she decides to be a hero for her friends. And that whole thing happening in the middle of like 5 panels, that was like pure My Hero Academia magic. Like, which is why I read this book. I loved it.
yeah.
I'm done. I'm gonna go home.
And
No, I'm kidding.
I don't know if you realize that or not, but do you know what day it is when this manga is coming back from break?
Well, it's 14 days, so it's gonna be on the 19th. I think.
Yes, and
Do I
what
know
is the
math?
nine things?
I don't know.
Or a bit internationally, what it's mostly known as?
Father's Day.
Yep, and what did they break at the end of the chapter?
Okay, first of all, no, they're not going to reveal that All for One is Deku's father.
I mean,
First of
it,
all, first
no,
of
no,
all,
no.
okay, stop, stop.
You can't deny that it's a bit sus that he
No,
breaks
no.
the mask in the chapter
Oh my god.
before that he releases
This is not going to
prior.
become a theory crafting episode where you go
I
all
mean,
ballistic about All for One's mask. Come on,
I
bro.
mean, I mean,
And not only that,
it
Isaac,
breaks.
we have.
Next episode, next chapter is releasing on Father's Day. He's usually trying to. He is someone that often has a purpose with his specific releases. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay, let's say that you're right, but I know you're wrong. Let's let's say you're right. There's no way that's what it is because well, that was really bad. I'm sorry. But you're wrong. But here's why you're wrong. We've seen All for One's face. It's all scarred and
And
whatever. So what are you saying?
and
So what are you trying to say?
and
That
let's
underneath.
let's remember one thing also.
Oh my
He
god.
is. We don't know exactly how many quirks he has. And since he is losing control of the Kirks, who isn't to say that he is losing control over, let's say, a transformation Kirk? We don't know how many Kirks he has,
Hey,
and
hey.
and it could be that his original original state or one state that which is shown is Mr. Midoriya.
But okay, first of all, no. Second of
I
all,
mean, we
hell
don't
no.
know how many.
But here's
We
the
don't
thing:
know how many.
we've seen his hair. He doesn't look nothing like Midoriya. If anything,
I say again, he if he transform
oh my
and
god,
and who know how the genetic works with him, he
Isaac, no,
I
no,
mean
you're not gonna convince me. It's not gonna happen.
I mean
Stop it.
I mean
No, but think about this. Look, the only way that I'll be happy that he's someone's father is that when they break the mask, he becomes Papa Smurf. That is the
I
only
mean
way.
I mean I know that Mike suggested maybe he's All Might's father. Otherwise,
All Might's family has nothing to do with anything.
I mean. Uh, I'm gonna read what he said.
Oh boy.
But what
When
he
what
wrote.
who said?
Mike, he wrote it in the chat.
Go
Uh,
ahead.
uh, Let me see here. Um, but can I?
Where did Mike write it? I don't see it. Did he write a comment?
He had it in a chat with me.
Okay.
Imagine him manipulating Nana, All Might, and Tomorrow. All happened because of him, because he had them in the same spot. And it could use villains aren't uncommon to using not using family members for his own benefits.
But he has nothing to do with anyone. That's the look.
How do how
But
do you
okay.
know
So so
that?
so so
How do you
so
know
here's
that?
okay. So here's
He's a character
look, dude.
that is has connection pretty much everywhere. He like
Well,
we
and that's
also
the
said
point. Well,
before.
well, here's the
We
thing.
also let me point out yet again. We don't know all of his quirk. For what we know, he can have a transformation quirk that like chameleon or whatever the Spider-Man villains is, or
So
you have
okay,
it.
okay. So
But you
we're
don't
losing this. This is getting out of control. But
you,
okay, but I'm gonna
you
humor
don't
you. I'm
you
gonna
don't
humor you.
gonna
No, I don't. I don't
also
agree with you at all. I'm completely
al-
against it, and I have a point to
also
make.
also like I also mentioned before. we all know that he is a massive fan of two things, Horikoshi, that is Marvel and Star Wars. And what is a specific thing in the original Star Wars series? Trilogy, we have a guy in the mask that is known as one of the most powerful being in the universe, and is believed to be the ultimate bad guy in the fourth film. We get revealed then that he is the father of the protagonist, and he is wearing a very similar I wouldn't say very similar, but a black mask that is clearly being his support mask to staying alive right now. I wonder what that much is from.
So here's the thing.
And they break it.
Oh my god.
They break it right on point for a Father's Day chapter.
Okay. You're wrong, but we're going to agree to disagree. You've made your argument. Now I'm going to make mine. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so give me a minute. I'm going to prepare a quick banner because apparently this is what it's becoming. Wait, I'm going to do this. Oh, we should have done this live, but apparently it's not happening.
I mean, we did Spy X Family live, and
okay. So let me give you my thoughts. So here's why All for One is no one's father. So, so listen. First off, the whole point about All for One's social gathering talent is that he is the father of the abandoned. Okay? That is the trend. He's not the father of anyone biologically. He assumes a father role with the people that have been lost. So he takes Toya in and all those other people that were gifted. He gives even this guy, the weird lizard guy, he gives him like a purpose. He takes Tomura Shigaraki in to make him an extension of himself. So he becomes like a father figure to other people. 2, Star Wars being an influence to Horikoshi, yes, it makes sense, but only in the design of All for One. Because if anything, Deku has no relationship to All for One whatsoever, except that he is recognized as All Might's biggest villain. The ultimate villain for Deku is Shigaraki, not All for One.
I mean,
let me finish. Let me finish. 3rd, if there was such a thing as a transformation quirk that he had, I think this far in the game, we would have seen it. And the only person, the only character that has a transformation quirk that we've seen in the entirety of the book is Toga. And Toga still has her quirk. So nobody else, anywhere, has a transformation quirk. 4, we have seen his face multiple times. It's scarred. Even when we don't see that it's scarred, he looks a lot like One For All's original user, which is white hair, and he looks like a businessman. Whatever happened to his face happened during All Might's tackle, whatever. It happened before. All Might and him have been going at it probably even before Deku was born. 5. One of the things that the book has made it very important is that Deku's dad really doesn't matter. Like, Deku not having a father has never been an issue that is close to Deku's story. If Deku was a character that was longing for a father figure because he didn't have a father, then I would understand that being a key twist for his story. But it's not, because he always had the role model of All Might. And his mother was a phenomenal single mother, so he never missed the fact that he didn't have a dad. 5. 5. I'm not done.
You said 5 already.
Okay, then 6, damn it. The only character that had a father crisis as part of his integral story was Todoroki. And we've seen that entire story played out. So whatever itch Horikoshi had about a missing father figure, it's kind of resolved with Todoroki. Even though Endeavor is not the perfect dad, that whole thing has been kind of taken care of. Number 7, damn it,
God, I
his
wish
bo-
Mike was
his
here right now.
his body is breaking down. But this is not something that we haven't seen before. If anything, the appropriate twist that we've seen is the whole thing with the spirits of those other quirks coming alive in him. Now, if a transformation quirk was a thing, yes. Is there a point to all for one's identity? I think so. There could be something, but the point of the matter is not who all for one really is. That's never been a point of discussion ever. Now, if you told me that at some point in the story, finding out who All for One's identity is was a plot point, then I would understand that his identity is a twist. But no, the itch for someone's identity being a twist, was satisfied with Dabi. Dabi was that one character that was designed that his identity was a twist and a story breaking twist that it was. He found out he was Toya. So that itch scratched off by Horikoshi. Number 8. Yeah, I'm gonna keep pulling these out of my ass.
Oh,
And
yeah, I know.
and number 8, which I think is gonna be the last one. I don't even. Deku is not Deku and All for One. There is no relationship. There is no connection. Oh wait, I didn't finish the other one. All for One. The reason he's important is because he is the menace that birthed Shigaraki. So
Yeah.
he's more of an idea more than a person or an identity. All for one is a symbol, just like All Might was a symbol. So his identity doesn't matter, and
Yeah, but
he
here
has
I,
never made it something that matters. So
yeah,
no,
but here's
I
also a
don't
thing.
think I don't think
Here's
his
a
identity is important.
here's another thing. You say that his father isn't important. Yes, I absolutely agree. But Horikoshi has said it himself a while back that we are going to be introduced to Deku's dad before the
I know.
story ends,
Maybe you
and
find out that his dad is the doctor that told him that he's quirkless. I don't know. I don't think it's all
that
for one.
that doctor is confirmed to be the doctor that handled Shigaraki's Kirks when they were.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Deku's father is one for all, not all for one.
I mean,
That would make more sense because that would make sense of why everything was exponentially more powerful in him. You know what I mean? That to me would make more sense. Just like Shigaraki is kind of more makes sense that
but
he's kind of the adoptive son of All for One.
here's a key thing that you don't remember. They stated at the beginning he is working overseas. He has a fire Kirk and all that jazz. And and who is it to say that he is visiting them from time to time? I'm just speculating. I'm just
Well, okay, no. I'm gonna use that point. If he's
yeah.
visiting from time to time,
If
at what
if
time did All for One leave Tartarus for a PTA meeting?
yeah, let me continue. Let me continue. Let me continue. I was silent when you talked your point,
Yeah.
and let me put it like this: he had the perfect excuse to not visit him anymore when his face got smashed into pieces, because they are used to him being away, and for whatever. And I know that you're saying that Toga is the only one that has shown at least to have a evolution quirk. That doesn't mean that he. haven't doesn't have one for whatever. I mean,
True.
he's quote unquote the originator of Kirk in some fashion. So, and he has a switcher knife of type of Kirks, and Lord knows how. So, I wouldn't say. Do I think he is Deku's father? Honestly, no. But at the same time, I think it's stupid to disqualify the idea just like that, because there are stuff that I honestly think it's because you have good points at overall. That I will agree. And like I said to Mike, I don't think he is but I think it's dumb to not even say that it's impossible, because like I said, it's not impossible that he has a transformation quirk, and it's not impossible that he has some of fire breathing quirk. And since he's working, you can easily use his working overseas as a measure of why he hasn't been around there, so to speak. And since he planned 7 steps ahead, he could know that he needs his own child to bear the one for uh, one for all instead, just for the sake of making it as powerful as it becomes, so he can before he gets it back. Yes, because like I said just a second ago, he plans 1,000 steps ahead.
See, and
He is an I was silent when you talked yours, so let me finish. So, and like I also said before, he suddenly uh, take a break, breaks that mask, makes it and returns on Father's Day. And he is a major Star Wars fan that might as well use that as a homage for the sake of using it, and as a homage. Now I'm done.
I understand the whole homage thing. I understand that these things could work. Here's my thing. Based on the way Horikoshi has built his story, the structures, the payoffs, I don't think. Look, if he ends up being Deku's dad, then hey, it's Horikoshi's book, not mine. But personally, as a fan, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. Mainly because every single twist that we've seen, I have truly enjoyed them because there is so much setup that has been good and satisfying that whenever the twist occurs, it's phenomenal. I feel that nothing has been set up at all for me to see, for me to enjoy that type of reveal. That's just my feel.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't. Like I said, I would not be surprised, but I would not be shocked either if he is Deku's dad.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see. I
Well,
guess
this
we will
can
see.
then watch him end up being Endeavor's dad.
See, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. See, something like that, it would make sense to me, you know,
No,
or
no,
maybe he's
no.
everybody's dad. Okay, that sounds disgusting.
Sweet home Alabama.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll
Okay,
see. I
this is
mean, we have
getting out of
another.
hand.
We have a. I mean, you started it. You started the whole. I mean, are we talking about chapter 55 or 355, or is this the chapter where we find out we're all? Oh
Uh,
my god, we have to properly label this show. But I mean,
uh,
overall, can we agree? Let's go back to what we really went on the rails. This was a great
It's
chapter,
us
though.
too. Are you that
Yes,
surprised?
yes. This was a great chapter. I'm satisfied with what we've gotten so far. I like the cliffhanger. Do I want more MHA right away? Yes, but every chapter that we've had since the last big break has been very satisfying and awesome. So I can't wait for more. Horikoshi, take the day off. It's all good. We'll see you on Father's Day. Damn it,
Yeah.
Isaac. But yeah, do you have anything else on this?
No, I don't.
So where can people find you, Mr. Heroic Ponyu?
Well, you can find me at Emblemaniac on Twitter, and you can find my work at Wobum Entertainment.
And you can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on on Twitter, at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Instagram. And if you enjoy what we do here at the Amateur Otaku Podcast, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Amateur Otaku Pod, and make sure you click on the subscribe button to our YouTube channel, click on the bell for notifications, and click the like button. Share with your friends. Let them know. And if you want to listen to us in podcast format, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, wherever podcasts are found, except Podbean. But yeah, the Amateur Otaku is everywhere, and hopefully you enjoy listening to us on YouTube and here. And trust me, this is not the first fight of words, of ideas that me and Isaac have had. We've been doing this awesome podcast for almost 3 years. So if you want to hear more awesome conversations of plenty of anime content and manga, go back to our library because there's plenty of stuff for you to check out. And we will see you next time with more My Hero Academia. Have it awesome, guys.
Peace.
Peace.